Oh, right. The Silent Riddler. So this level is where the game actually gets good. Oh, look at that. It's the fucking sandworm. I missed it. Oh, I love that. So whenever I was talking about earlier that I generally just enjoy playing Serious Sam at this level, this is what I'm talking about. Now this is the Serious Sam we know and love, baby. Lots of dudes, big open areas, and you see what I mean? Like, the hit-scanning enemies aren't a big deal. I swear that's only a console, like, pleb problem. It really is. Like, just move. Like, that's all you gotta do, right? Or just do this. Why is that so hard? And have you noticed I haven't taken that much health damage either? So, anyways, this is what I love about Serious Sam. Lots of color, lots of dudes, and prioritizing enemy types. So, you can see that we're starting to encounter clear more often in hordes now, as well as biomechs. I wouldn't say that the game gets very difficult here, just this specific area, because it's trying to teach you about running backwards. That's actually the main, you know, meme of Serious Sam, is you have to run backwards all the time. So, yeah, this is pretty much where it starts, and the meme starts here, son. I also haven't pointed this out yet, but they take out the grenade launcher in this game for some baffling reason. I don't know why, either. It was actually one of my favorite weapons in classic Serious Sam, but they do bring it back in Serious Sam 4, which is pretty weird. The hell? The only thing I don't like about the hit scan enemies is they're actually hard to see. That's just, you know, that's a me problem, I guess. Or the game, I don't know. Let's just yeet a grenade out there, that'll probably hit something. So... oh, where is it, where is it, where is it, where is it? Oh, I didn't see him. Damn it. I love the giant, like, sandworms. They're fucking awesome. They, so I mentioned this in Serious Sam's second encounter. If you actually go, like, way out in the desert out there, you'll get eaten by these giant, unkillable sandworms. And, in lore, they're supposed to be, like, completely benign. They just don't give a shit. And, like, they're not part of Mental's horde. They're just supposed to be there, as like they got teleported in somehow. Kind of like the Zen wildlife in Half-Life, basically. Like, they're just there. They're not actually malicious. They're just weird. And if I go out there, I'll actually get killed by one. They do come up later in the story, which is pretty cool. In Serious Sam 1 and 2, if you went too far out, you just started dying, and it was a little bit weird. Like, oh no, I'm suddenly taking the damage! At least in this game you get like a little bit of a justification for it, right? So, this is also where the game starts to open up. Like I said, this is the Serious Sam we know and love, and we've known and loved forever. Look at these environments too, they're actually very pretty. There's a lot of golds and greens, and other than these ugly ass, you know, shanty towns, this is actually a very well designed looking area, and I love it. I mean, this isn't a very challenging arena, but this is, like I said, the game's way of teaching you need to start running away from enemies and have total spatial awareness and where to drag them out to. And it also teaches you that you need to look around when you start hearing the kamikaze units. Which is, like I said, everyone bitches about this game's design, and I think they've only played the first, like, 10 minutes of the game and not actually finished it, because this game has very good level design towards the end. It's not perfect, don't get me wrong, but it's a lot better than other games at the time when they came out. Dicks. I haven't even... well, maybe I did mention it, but they actually did increase the speed at which the, and the distance at which Clear can do that attack from. So, that's a thing. Also, you do fight Technopolyps, or the infected helicopter enemies as well, which they show up in Serious Sam 4, I think maybe a total of like 3 times. And in that game, you have the homing rockets, so it just doesn't even matter. I think that's the one thing I didn't like about Serious Sam 4 was, well, I loved it, but they basically made the rocket launcher secondary. That's kind of one of the main issues I had in Doom 4 and 5, was they never really make you play around with the rocket launcher without locking on, so you don't really use it as often. At least that's how it feels to me. So, look at this. Oh shit. Let's see if I can see him though. Where are you big bastard? Oh, I don't trust that actually. I don't know how far they can creep up. I don't... Okay. It's just really angry, I guess. I really triggered him. I think I got a glitch, but I'm gonna roll with it. It's no big deal. Okay. I didn't say the engine was perfect, so yeah, it looks like it stopped. So we do need a key card, which... Oh no, key card puzzles, they're the worst. They ruin the video game. So, yeah, this is nothing new. Well, new to this game, I should say. We do have to find keys in a couple of levels as well, and they unlock little goodie areas and stuff. The one I'm thinking of is over here somewhere, I'm pretty sure. It's not a huge requirement, but, you know, anything that gives you an advantage is very, very well appreciated as well. So, keys are always going to be purple, and I think they actually changed that to be the same color for, what are they called, like extra pickups in Serious Sam 4. So, not a huge deal. They do stand out in areas, so if you do see one, you're like, oh look, that's a secret. Just damn, son. This is what I'm talking about. This is the Serious Sam experience right here. Just prioritizing dudes as they show up. And yes, I am that fucking like spazzy when it comes to using the assault rifle in this game. It's very, very fun. It's, like I said, it's my bread and butter weapon when I'm not using a shotgun or a like a pistol. It's just, it's so fun. I love this game so much. It's not like the most deep shooter ever, but it's just like, damn, son. Think about the time this game came out. You had, what, Halo Reach was popular at the time, and I played a shitload of Halo Reach. And you had Battlefield 3. I think Black Ops 1 was the newest Call of Duty at the time. Oh, what else was out? Like I said, there was just a huge amount of games that were so samey and repetitive, and is this a secret? It looks like it would be. Actually, I'm pretty sure you can jump up here, and there's a goodie or two, I'm pretty sure. At least I would put one there, if I was a game developer. Oh, what the fuck? That doesn't have collision? Oh, that's a bunch of bullshit. I know there's a secret on the other end over there if you walk across this, but I guess... no? Alright, whatever. That's cool. I know there's one over there on that fence, but I don't know what it is. I literally always do that with the fucking sledgehammer. I want to reload it, man. It needs reloading, okay? Don't judge me. So, another thing about Serious Sam 4 is just... oh, man. This is where it starts to, like, deteriorate in Serious Sam 4. The game doesn't have shit like this. Like, these long stretches of just fun. You know what I mean? I think this is a secret. Alright, no, it's just decoration. Like, Serious Sam 4 does have a pretty good enemy variety, I will say that. But it's not as good as Serious Sam 3, where they just throw shitloads of dudes at you of different flavors. And that's something I think really makes 3 a lot more enjoyable to me, at least. Oh, this is really dumb. What am I doing? In Serious Sam 3, you actually get a very good mix of dudes and situations you have to fight them in. So, Also, have you noticed that we've slowly transitioned out of the very boring city areas and actually into the Egyptian areas of the game? Which, oh man, that's what I want the entire time. It's got everything I wanted, everything I need. I love Serious Sam 3. Can you tell? I mean, it's like I said, it's my go-to. This is a de-stressy kind of... I don't have to think too hard on it when I'm playing it. It's just fun. I think that's the best way to describe Serious Sam 3. It's just a fun shooter. It's not anything deep. It's not, like, crazy difficult. It's not, like, you know, batshit frustrating. It's just got shit like that, you know? Like, there's something for everybody here, right? Like, it's just so solid. It's a well-designed shooter with a lot of fun. It's not like, oh, that was a bad waste of an armor. It's just the right amount of challenge to where I don't feel stressed out playing it. And it's just the right amount of fun. It's also just the right amount of gameplay, I think. It's not very long, it's not very short. It's just good. You know what I mean? And I think it's not what I call underrated. I just think it's not well liked by most of the other players in the games. I will say this, I love Serious Sam 1 because it's a very unique shooter, but I think 3, in terms of like balance and stuff, that was a waste, is a much better game in terms of like what it was trying to do. Serious Sam 1, the time it came out, it was trying to prove, you know, it was a proof of concept kind of game. Like, can it be done? Does this engine actually work? And it kind of started the arena shooter game, like the single player ones. It's unique, right? Serious Sam 3 took that formula and refined it. Serious Sam 4 just took that formula, dumbed it down, and made it kind of iffy. It's not terrible, but it's not the worst. I'd say 4 is just mediocre. I think that's the only way I can describe it. It's mediocre, it's not funny. It's got moments where it's funny, but it's not as solid and well executed as Serious Sam 3 is. And you can be like, Seth, all you're doing is hitting these fucking dumb spider enemies, right? Well, this is the introduction of the actual game, right? So I'm not gonna be fighting the crazy shit yet. So, but this is also good player training, so you actually learn your muscle memory and stuff. I know a lot of players also bitch about the fact that this game takes away your weapons and armor and stuff. What is it, halfway through the game? I think it's a few levels after this. And I kind of am okay with that in games, because personally, you do want the player to not become over-reliant, because then they get bored. And if a player gets bored, they're gonna start just, like, sinking into these really weird, like, rhythms, essentially, where they're no longer playing the game, they're just remembering, like, actions, and it's not engaging anymore, it's not challenging anymore. So resetting the player, in my opinion, is actually an okay tactic. If it's used properly, how about that? If you're using it, like, every 3 or 4 levels, yeah, that's dickish, right? There we go. I'll blow it the hell up really carefully. But you know what I mean, right? It's something I'm okay with, because the series doesn't... I mean, it did it 3 times in the second encounter, so that game is not even close to perfect either. It also did it once in Serious Sam 1, like when you go to Karnak. Oh shit! Alright, I'm probably gonna get killed here. This is actually a pretty challenging arena because there's not very much cover. This isn't very difficult in terms of like the enemy composition. It's just difficult because the environment is so open. I think I still have a C4. There we go. Blow up whatever's behind it. So, yeah. Oh, shit. I don't think that this game is as bad as most players will argue. I can say it's pretty average as far as shooters go, but that's... I'd rather something be average than mediocre, if that makes any sense, because in my opinion, mediocre means it could have been way better. And I think this game did as good as it could have done, especially for the time it came out. And I think that's the best way I look at it. Oh, really? As far as difficulty goes, I'd say it's also just... It's what we needed at the time, right? There we go. What the hell? Actually, I think in Serious Sam 4, that key is 5. That's why I keep doing that, too. Oh, come on.
That's good, but not quite enough.
I also don't like the boss fights in Serious Sam 4. I think they're pretty bad. Serious Sam has never been a good boss fight series. Okay, let's...
Alright, just one more.
And I do like this cutscene, I will show it.
Quinn, your egghead solved that riddle yet? Plan B is good to go.
Just a few more minutes.
Take your time. Time for Plan B. 10 sticks of dynamite, $400. Blowing up one of mankind's oldest artworks, priceless. Please. Man's gotta know when to screen his calls.
So, yeah. I actually really like that cutscene because it's just... It's the tone, right? It's exactly the Serious Sam tone. It's silly, it's goofy, it's dumb. I like it. I also like these tombs because, if you guys don't know, I really love ancient Egypt. I love these kinds of things a lot. So...
Oh, fuck.
Sam saying fuck is always really strange to me for some reason. Alright, so time for the really iffy platforming. Now, I will admit, this is not very good, but... boy. Alright, I don't like these. These sections are very iffy, if you couldn't tell. It's because they wanted you to do something different, and I understand the idea. But my goodness, thank God it's not using the Serious Sam 1 and 2 engine, because that shit is not fun. You just stop like a rock in the air in that game. So, it's a lot more doable in this game. So, it's not as atrocious, but it's still not great. I don't mind these sections, though. They break up the gameplay. It's pretty cool to me. I've always had dreams of doing shit like this when I was a kid, so it's kind of a little bit of a wish fulfillment. I love how Sam just swears a hell of a lot more in this game. I think that was because it was the cool thing to do, right? That's just what we all thought was cool. So... I love this sort of shit. It's just so cool looking.
Awfully quiet down here.
And when I played this the first time, it's very, very tense.
Creepy.
Oh, I love this. It just looks so cool. I like how you get to see what the Syrians used to look like as well.
Won't budge.
Budge. So now we need to get our good old-fashioned, wonderful, handy-dandy bracelet. And there's a dead Syrian, by the way.
Sam's gotta accessorize.
That's what they're supposed to be. I like how in Serious Sam, the Syrians were actually what the Egyptians were worshipping. It's pretty cool. I like this. What do you know? Fashionable and practical.
It's cute and practical.
That's what it is. So this is also a new weapon. If you have your hand out, you can do this, and it can actually chain kill enemies, and you can kind of like whip around on them. It's pretty cool.
It sounds significant. Try not to blow it up. I'll let you know when I have anything.
The first time I played this, by the way, that shit scared me so bad. Because you just think there's going to be an enemy in here. And that's... I like that. It's good pacing. So, yeah, this is actually just not that big of a deal. I've seen so many people say this is like the downfall of the game. And they're like, oh, the cave sections just ruin it. They're really not that bad.
We're deciphering now.
Oh...
In the meantime, head outside. We've got a transport arranged.
Are you kidding? No one in their right mind would fly in here right now.
We found somebody willing.
Great. Crazy
People make the best pilots. I fucking love that line. I say that all the time actually at home. So, crazy people make the best XYZ. So, this is actually just a pretty fun little gauntlet sort of challenge. You just get to hold out here and... look at this shit! It's so cool! Like, I mean... I'm just gonna gush here and say, if the last moments on my life were just in front of the Great Pyramid and I just went and died, I'd be okay with that. They're just so cool. This game really, really does know when to, like, stop the crazy shit and go, alright, look at this. It's just so cool looking. And everyone's like, oh, the game is so bad, and then they only play the first 10 minutes and don't realize, oh no, trust me, it gets fucking great. So, oh, this is what I'm talking about. I don't think the cover is very good here because you have to constantly be moving around this stuff. But, oh, where's the worm? I miss it. I keep missing the worm. It's so cool. I think they're called sand whales or something. I can't remember. They're just really cool. I could easily look it up in Natrixa, but I don't really care. Also, that's something this game kind of took away, was Natrixa had a personality in Serious Sam 1 and 2, and she actually, like, said stuff like, be careful, Sam. In this game, she doesn't really do that. I guess that the idea was to make her like Cortana in the official Serious Sam 2, but obviously it didn't work very well, so they didn't keep it in this game as well. I mean, at the time, I think Cortana was just relevant because she was a girl character or something in a very man-meat game, I guess? I don't know. I couldn't tell you, I don't really care. Everyone's like, she's voiced by XYZ, and I'm like, I don't really care, because that doesn't matter, that's not the character to me, so it doesn't really... It's like it's like in MK11 where they had the guy that played Shang Tsung in the first film play Shang Tsung. I'm like, well, why couldn't they just let someone else do it? I actually don't even like that design for Shang Tsung that much. It's just not that interesting. I like Deadly Alliance era Shang Tsung. He looked fucking cool. He looked like an actual, like, regal sorcerer. He looked really nasty and neat and... ugh. Hello. That's what I get for talking about MK again, right? Every time I talk about current MK, I just get incredibly pissed off, if you couldn't tell. They just really fucked that series up. I mean, it's like, oh, cool, it's that Shang Tsung, and I'm like, he looks just... It's just so pandery, and I can't stand it. They just couldn't keep with, like, the original ideas they had in mind. I know people say, oh, but the costumes, and he has a leather coat, and I'm like, no one gives a shit. Who cares if it's voiced by Billy Idol? It doesn't matter. The character is all that really matters, really. Serious Sam could have been voiced by fucking John McClane. Okay, I mean, Bruce Willis, and I really couldn't give a shit less. By the way, I'm not really sure if I like Bruce Willis or whatever either. I've seen a lot of... Actually, Die Hard ones. Oh, there's the sandworm. You could barely see him, but he was out there. Oh, I love the sandworms. They're just so fucking cool. I love, like, space creatures like that in science fiction. They always look really neat. It's because I'm fucking terrified of whales, so I like anything that's like a space whale or something. It just... Oh, it's so fucking cool to me. It's a guilty, honest pleasure. It really is. So... Now you can see why it was like... It starts to become Serious Sam. Like... This is what Serious Sam is to me in my mind, right? You're just switching back and forth between various weapons as dudes spawn in and you're moving around, trying not to get stuck. It's 100% the Serious Sam experience. It's just takes a little bit to get to it. But I also think the length of time it takes to get to this is well worth it. Because, keep in mind, it had been years since there was another Serious Sam title. And they were releasing it on next-gen consoles at the time, so not everybody knew what it was. So they had to actually, you know, kind of ease players into this whole arena shooter-style gameplay, which wasn't very popular. Or it wasn't... I guess it wasn't popular, it's just not very common. The only games I can think of that come close to this are like... Probably just Painkiller, and Painkiller was never really that popular. Painkiller, well, the first one, Black Edition, is probably the only, like, decent Painkiller, I think. Then you have, like, the, really iffy user-made levels that they added in, like, a fucking thing, and, oh, I don't even have any... Oh, fuck, I thought I actually had that. That would have been really cool. Guess I didn't. Anyways, you know, I have all those expansion packs, and I did want to play them later. It's one of those shitty things where the game developers say, only play on this difficulty to unlock this, and I'm like, okay, then what's the vanilla difficulty? And then you got to experiment, and then certain levels are locked behind certain difficulties, and the soul collecting mechanic's really shitty, and... like, I don't know. I think Painkiller is great, but it's very flawed. It's nowhere as good as Serious Sam. That's all I can say. Serious Sam just nailed it. Painkiller, it's good. I really do like Painkiller, but the problem I have with it just stems from the fact that it's so... I wouldn't say it's poorly designed, because it's actually a pretty fucking cool game. But my biggest gripe is, in Painkiller, the enemy variety is different for each level, and that's really cool, but then you realize you have to adapt to a new enemy type every single level, and then some of them are just very uninteresting to fight, and that, to me, is what kind of ruins Painkiller a little bit. So, I don't know. That's why I prefer Serious Sam, is because you actually get these very... I mean, it's repetitive, yes, but it trains your brain and your muscle memory to react to certain things in specific ways. In Painkiller, it's just like, here's the enemy that does this one mechanic for only this one level, and they're only in this one level. And it kind of just distracts it a little bit, I think. I don't know. I don't think it's terrible. I love Sam. And hey, there's Hellfire, who would change drastically in appearance in the next game. Like I said, I don't care about series continuity. I don't care about timelines. I don't care about X, Y, or Z. Just make the game solid. You don't have to make a fucking Marvel Cinematic Universe fucking deep level dumb shit where everyone has to know every single thing and every single thing's connected to this. But as long as the game is solid, that's all that really matters. So, but yeah, Hellfire, I almost called her Hellcat. I was playing RuneScape before this, can you tell? She does change drastically in appearance. So does Rodriguez as well. Rodriguez is entirely different in the next game as well. Everything's different, except Sam. Sam stays the same. He's a little bit more of an asshole in this game, though. I like this because it makes me smile.
Okay, I'm in. It's time for us to get the Hellfire? Fancy meeting you here.
The pleasure is all mine.
Any news from HQ?
They analyzed all that data you found. There are two massive power generators under Karnak and Luxor. It looks like they powered the time lock.
Let me guess. They want me to turn them on.
Oh, now you can turn things on?
Shut up and fly.
Oh, that's not the cutscene. Never mind. There's one where he says the guerrilla warfare meme for absolutely no reason. So, I'm gonna take a quick break here, and I'll see you guys in the next one.